I'm sure there's a lot of people out there now who subscribe to some sort of music streaming service. You know, and when you first get started with that, typically it's as easy as you got your phone in your hand, and like with Apple, it's real easy, right? You hit the music app and say subscribe me, and they bill you. It's pretty basic.
That is their plan.
You know, and probably most of them are like that too. I mean, you not only have Apple, you have Tidal, you have Qobuz, you have there's probably
Amazon,
half a dozen that are pretty popular, right?
Yes.
At least, you know, but. What we want to talk about today is, okay, so now you're there. You're streaming music somewhere. You're listening to it somehow. And there are ways to enhance that experience. And there's a lot to talk about here, and we're just going to cover it basically. We can't get into depth here because it's going to take too long, but let's cover the basics. Like, where would you start to begin with?
Well, it kind of depends on where you are, but the most obvious one, headphones. And that's pretty straightforward. And I think everyone can understand that the headphone can matter and make a difference in your experience, but you of course want things to be matched. So if you're just connecting to your phone, you're using an app on your phone or a tablet or a computer or something, then maybe the headphone isn't necessarily the most important thing. But if you want to up your game and your experience, it's probably the first place to start before you start buying DACs, amps, or hardware like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just listening off like the speakers built in your monitor, you know, or something that's just, it's really not doing it, you know. Yeah, I mean, you know what, you at least get maybe, do they still make desktop speakers for computers?
Yeah, they're not that common.
Yeah, you don't see it, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's even that would be better than what's
a Wi-Fi speaker or a Bluetooth speaker. They're not bad.
Yeah,
that's a decent start.
Right.
Yeah.
I have one of those little HomePod minis. I like that. Sounds decent, small, convenient, relatively elegant looking. It's nice when you just want to listen to general ambiance music, right? Something like that is a good start if you're comparing it to like nothing or your laptop speakers or your phone speaker.
Yeah.
They're not too expensive. There's of course options for like $30, $50.
Yeah, not only that,
They're
you
not
know,
great,
it gives you the ability to enjoy music in different ways. Like, you know, if you're just listening out of your phone speakers or something, it's pretty limited. Especially if you're in a bigger room or if you're trying to share the music with other people. I mean, you know, once you get a few feet away from the phone, it's pretty useless.
Yeah.
You know,
Especially if there's any ambient noise.
yeah, right. It's no good. You can't have a party with a phone. It just doesn't work. So Bluetooth speakers are a great, simple, you know, $100 maybe. You can get something decent that could fill a room.
You could get ones for a few $100 that sound pretty great, actually. But they are relatively expensive for what they are and maybe the limited utility a lot of people have.
But they have pros and cons like anything, right? I mean, they're easy to use. Usually just talk to them, say, play this song, you know. There's no setup. Just plug it in and, you know.
Yeah, I like them. I think they're great for certain applications, but they don't really have the oomph that you can get from a high-end headphone setup. You know, they don't really give you the immersive, overwhelming sound that you could get with something like that. So as an entry point, as just like a general noise, great option. But if you really want a full-on experience, you got to move on a little bit above that.
Yeah, so I mean, now you're looking at something a bit more personal, intimate, which would be, you know, Bluetooth headphones, earbuds, something that, you know, you're up in the game from some speaker on a phone or on your screen to now you've got a full out headset on, and with its adjustability and ability to just kind of, it still goes with you. It's as long as you're within phone reach, it's working, right? So now it's pretty cool when you think about it. I mean, just going to a Bluetooth headphone even for $100 or so is dramatic over.
Especially if you're not at home and you need noise canceling.
Yeah, right. Yeah, if you're in public transportation or wherever, you're sitting in a library, whatever, it's a cool way to be able to enjoy music. Now beyond that, which we can go way beyond that, right? This is just the beginning.
That's kind of what we do.
So. Yeah, right. So this is just, we're talking just the basics here where you're beginning. So now you want to up the game. Let's say you're there already. Now you want to up the game even further. So now we could talk about equipment. Like you can actually buy specific electronics to stream your music, to stream your subscription.
Yep.
You know, and those electronics are designed pretty much to do that, and they do a really good job of it. So you're up in the sound quality almost tremendously. You're going to more of a wired system. So you know these things are going to connect to your stereo system. Receivers can
it could be built in too.
Could built in a receiver. So if you already have a receiver, check its capabilities. You might be able to just connect your streaming service to the receiver. Now you've got your speakers hooked up that are in your room to the service. So yeah, check that. Sound bars, I would imagine, are capable of connecting to phones Bluetooth. And
There's a lot of
probably-
options. However, nuance here like always, because there are a lot of devices that you could say Bluetooth music from a phone to, and that legitimately is a stream from your phone to the endpoint, the
Oh,
device.
right.
And that almost overwhelmingly will impact quality. Doesn't mean it has to, but it usually does.
It's sending the signal through Bluetooth.
Right.
And not that Bluetooth is bad, but it's not the
No,
best.
it's great
you can
actually,
do.
but
Yeah.
it's dependent on both devices being compliant with modern standards and all. It's complicated, but generally expect a Bluetooth connection to be slightly worse than a wired connection or another way of streaming. What we see more commonly in high end now is there's devices that are made to be like a Roon endpoint. Something
Which
like
we'll
that.
get into a little bit
We'll
about
get into
Roon.
that.
Yeah.
Something like that is designed. You buy this box, and maybe you use an app on your phone to command it, but it is downloading and streaming the music directly off the internet, not through a device. So you have one less step that's happening there, and one less chance for the information being lost, because the device is streaming the full quality audio off the internet, and your phone's just used to control it.
Yeah, see, this is dedicated electronics that, would, through a menu or something, it physically is connecting to your streaming app, your music service.
So instead of it going through your phone, Bluetooth losing quality to that, it just gets handed off all to that.
It's either
and
connected
you're
to
just
your
controlling
Wi-Fi
it. Yeah.
or or it's hardwired into your home through the local
Through the
area, the
network.
LAN.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, which is the best way to go, by the way. If you
Right.
get to go to a device, an actual streaming device, you're best to hardwire it to your system. Some people have problems with Wi-Fi, and there's all kinds of reasons why you have issues with Wi-Fi, especially when you start streaming
You definitely want
high
to wire
res.
it though. That's what we did in Chicago last year. We wired out all of our Roon things, and it was just instant.
Yeah, it's a much better experience, and
Yeah.
it avoids all kinds of crazy stupidity with potential for Wi-Fi networks not meshing together with that kind of stuff. But
Yeah, you don't need to question it either.
Yeah,
It's not like,
but-
is the Wi-Fi a little?
But that's another topic altogether.
Yeah.
Bottom line is that so you can and these devices they sell that stream are started probably $100, $300, and go up to tens of thousands.
Yeah, they get
literally.
expensive, yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's quite the hell of a range
You
here.
could get units pretty affordably though, so it's not really a barrier to entry in that sense.
Yeah.
If that's something you want to try, I think it's affordable enough. There's plenty of options. We're not going to go through all of them.
No, it's absolutely can't. But research it. Just look at what your use case is and
plug
what
it
your
in the
price
Googles.
range is.
Yep.
Yeah, it's try it, just see what it does, and these are all stepping stones because now once you do that, once you get a wired system, now you've got that device, that streaming device, and it could have a headphone jack on the front of it. Some do. Some are designed to take interconnect, like our Sierra balance
both.
interconnect, hook them up to an amplifier. Or you could buy headphone amplifiers. There's a lot of possibilities when you get into
It's essentially your
places like-
foundation. Speaking of which, yeah, that's what B&W calls their streaming thing, foundation. right?
Foundation.
Yeah, so-
Start that as a basis for your exploration of what you can do with this streaming service because it trust us, we could go, this goes to a way, way higher level because the music now, the quality of the stream is tremendous on all these services. You got lossless now, you got way beyond CD quality coming out of most of these systems just from the stream. So, you can step up your game in the headphone world, in the electronics, and it's the quality is going to step up along with it because the music quality is that high. So, okay, so beyond that, so now we're into separate. So we have a separate piece, a device that's streaming the music. So now where do we go from there?
Few options. You could have an external DAC that converts to digital to analog. If you're in pretty high-end stuff, that usually is going to be a better bet. It's usually going to be a good idea to start somewhere around there because oftentimes that's a limitation when you're really going for it.
Now, DAC is short for a digital to analog converter.
Yep.
So it's taking the digital off the streaming unit. It's
Which you
digital
can't hear.
straight
You
out.
can't listen to.
It's kind of like HDMI, right? It's all digital. Yeah, you can't.
You can't watch
Yeah.
HDMI. Your
right.
TV converts
It's a
it.
digital signal. So now
Yeah.
you've got a separate box now. So now we're up to two pieces. But the second piece, the DAC, is converting that digital to analog at typically a way higher level than most of the, your Apple dongle is going to do or something like that, right? So,
yeah.
So now you're getting, you're upping the ante some more. And from there, now your DAC is putting out audio. And again, DACs can have headphone jacks built in with headphone amplifiers built in. to up the game on your headphone listening. You can connect it to a speaker amplifier or a receiver, and go there. A lot of receivers have digital inputs, so you can use a receiver as a DAC. So you don't need a DAC. You can run out of your streamer. If your receiver doesn't stream or can't connect to the stream directly, you can use your streamer, hook up HDMI or probably USB. I don't know. Do they have USB out of the into the receivers? Can you go in from a streamer? I don't know.
I know you could plug like your iPhone into modern.
It probably would work. It probably will
USB
recognize
ports
it.
on
It depends.
Yeah.
We don't know on that one because
Yeah.
you got compatibility
Yeah.
issues with this stuff. So, look at it, look into it. But bottom line is that, the cool thing is once you've got this streaming unit, directly picking up the signal, converting it to a digital signal, now that's beautiful. You have high-res digital music sitting on your desktop waiting to connect somewhere. So a DAC, a receiver, something.
Well, and you don't even need to pick it. You could go both directions and have it both your headphone amp and your speakers all in the same system and switch between them
Yeah.
as you will.
Well, some of the streamers probably have analog out too. They have built-in DACs. So again, you could just go take a pair of analog interconnect left, right, hook them up to a receiver.
And this is a point that I do occasionally see people getting stuck on. A lot of times, because channels like us, unfortunately, they praise the benefits of maybe replacing your DAC with a higher end external one. People think that means you need a DAC. Most devices have DACs built in. It's very common. If it has an analog out, of course, it already has a DAC built in. And you shouldn't be fearful of using that. If you're going to buy a DAC that's $100 or less, don't bother. If it already has one built in, it probably is going to be similar quality.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, at least in my experience, when you're buying an external DAC, I haven't really been able to hear a difference until you get to the high-end stuff. We're talking like maybe $500 or $1,000, $2,000. Above around $1,000 or so, generally you're going to hear a difference. And in the thousands range, usually you can almost guarantee it'll be better. But we're talking about fairly subtle things. So that's a good part. That's a good place to start if you really want to, if you want to get to just really high-end audio and you want to buy something that solves all your problems today and hope it solves them still in the future. Maybe buying a DAC works, but if you're sort of in a place where you're not interested in spending that kind of money, you can't afford it, you don't have it, I wouldn't bother either buying a DAC at all. Just run whatever integrated solution you have in there and worry about an amp.
Yeah, now for those who can afford it and aren't worried to spend $1,000 or $2,000 per unit, maybe we're talking adding up here to thousands for a system, and a nice pair of headphones. I mean, usually at that point, if you're wearing headphones, you're in the multi-$1,000 range for headphones. If you're running speakers, you're probably similar there. If you're spending thousands of dollars on the electronics, you're probably got speakers that match up with that too. And if you don't, that's what you'd be looking at, right? So bottom line is that you could go, there are tons, unlimited options when you get into that range. When you start talking, multi-$1,000 systems, $5,000, $6,000, $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 systems, the sky's the limit. There's a lot. So your best bet when you get to that end, if you've never done it before, is try to find a local high-end shop, a dealer who sells product like that, because not only will they help you to integrate to what you have, they'll steer you in the right direction in terms of what you need to go with it. Because it can be confusing. If you want to assemble a system and you've never done it before, you need to seek help. You just need to.
It's a good idea. Yeah. So if you can go somewhere physically that has this stuff, but this is a little limiting because they're probably going to push you towards something they sell. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's the best for your case, but it's something to consider and be aware of.
At least they know it works together. And if it doesn't, they'll figure it out.
They're probably in a better place than you are to help steer you towards the right path.
Yeah.
And beyond that, of course, calling someone that you trust, you believe that they're going to steer you in the right direction, that's not a bad bet too, especially if they're just going to make general recommendations. Like if you call a headphone company and say, hey, I'm interested in buying this headphone, what do you recommend to work with it? If they don't sell any of the gear, well, they don't have a dog in the fight, so to speak. So they're probably going to point you towards gear that's going to work well as a solution for you. Or if you can't do that, you don't want to do that, email is the next best bet. Lay it all out, say what you want to do, what you're going for. And most likely you could find someone that's going to really try to make sure you get a solution that works for you.
I think most companies, including ours, we have, at least one, if not multiple people on staff that know how this works. So, if someone on the phone can't help you, they probably know someone who can.
Yeah,
hopefully.
Yeah, and you'll get it's at least they'll point you in the right direction. So anyway, the bottom line is that these are steps you can take to improve upon just the basic music subscription service. And now beyond this, there's actually another subscription service you could stack on top of your music, which is
Roon
Labs.
Yeah, that's not like sponsored or anything.
No.
It just seems to be a good service.
Yeah, well, everyone seems to like it,
Yeah.
and I've talked to a number of our customers and a lot of dealers over the years who, the pros use it too. Guys that have been doing custom install for years. Think it's
our
the
local
greatest.
dealer uses it.
Yeah, right. Everyone uses it.
And it's nice that I know how to use it now. When I go there, it's like, oh yeah.
And in a nutshell, what Roon is it's a subscription service, and you pay a monthly fee, obviously, but what they give you is the ability to take your whole digital world and put it together in one screen. And
It's
the
like
screen,
magic.
The screen could be on a computer or a laptop or an iPhone or an Android or an iPad. But bottom line is you use one simple to use user interface, which is beautiful. Album artwork, history on the band you're listening to, all kinds of stuff built into this thing, right? And it's all one interface for everything in your digital world. Not only your streaming service, but if you have local music on computers, it finds it. If you have, whatever, if you have a device in your home that's Roon ready, like a receiver, or like, what's some of the stuff that's Roon ready that's out there?
All kinds of stuff.
There's an incredible amount at this point.
Yeah.
You see a lot. Just plug in Roon Ready on the internet, and you'll find like 500 devices that do
like
compatible
Sonos
stuff.
That's
Sonos
right.
is
Sonos
one,
a lot of people have Sonos. It's Roon ready. So if you subscribe to Roon, you go to the bottom of your Roon screen, you choose the device you want your music to play, and it just sends it to that device in your home. So you could actually have multiple Roon, what they call endpoints. You could send the music to that speaker over there, or that receiver that's Roon ready, or this. So it's kind of neat in that respect. It allows you to steer the music depending on what you're doing in your home, and at the same point, it will find all the music it can for you. I think you could set up like streaming radio stations as with favorites, which is free.
Yeah.
Come to think of it, I didn't even mention that. You could set this stuff up for free. You could stream local stations from all over the country. FM radio stations tend to be.
There's a lot of free streaming services.
Yeah.
Some better than others in quality, of course.
Yeah.
But this is just designed to help push them all together so it's easier, because this is sort of one of the things that we've been asking for some time. It's not perfect by any means, but it's pretty good, and it's the best option that I know of at this time.
Well, it's pretty refined at this point, and
good.
They just keep improving on it.
That's the nice part. But the other thing is, if you had multiple streaming services for some reason, like they had different stuff, then you wouldn't need to. It would always be the same interface. You wouldn't have to switch between apps and all that.
Very annoying. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like having 5 different video streaming services. You got to find out which one is it on.
Yeah. Right.
This just it helps you bunch them together.
Or because you're sending on that app, you're sending it to different devices in your home. You don't need remote controls for all those devices either. You're just sending the music to it, and I believe you can adjust the volume control right on your device. It's easy. It's easy to deal with, and it's pretty cool.
Especially if you have like a lot of rooms with different things in it. Like you got a Sonos speaker here, and a sound bar in another room. You can independently.
Yeah. Now Roon does require a device, and anyway, check out their website. Let them. They have dealers. They have their own support staff. So if you need to figure out how to use it, contact them and figure it out. But bottom line, it's a cool service when you get to a point where, like you said, especially if you have multiple places you're trying to bring your digital music in from, to be able to put it into one screen and not have to figure it all out anymore, it just does it for you, is tremendous value.
But like we were saying, like in the high end, like separate boxes and DACs and all that, it doesn't necessarily have to be that way, because now there's really high end like single box solutions now that are built-in amps, DACs, streamer, and they're $15,000-$20,000 like.
Well, like DCS, the company DCS sells the Lena, which is, they sell a few models, but the Lena is a DAC, a streamer.
Yep.
You will need a separate amplifier if you're running headphones, but they sell that too. It's a high-end solution. We're talking over $10,000. They make even higher end than that. You can get in the $20,000 range.
Yeah, that's their entry level.
Yeah, right. So, and the other, in the lower end of things too, My Tech comes to mind.
Yeah, Brooklyn Bridge.
My Tech Digital makes some nice pieces. They do have one that's pretty new, just came out, and it's got a Roon engine.
There it is.
Oh, it's got a Roon engine built in.
I think we're supposed to get one of these at some point.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, we're supposed to is right.
Yeah.
Mall.
You haven't used
Where
it
is
yet.
it?
But yeah, in fact, let's get one of these soon. I'll email them to remind them.
Yes.
And because we like to play with this, because not only is this a Roon ready endpoint, right, which will interface to Roon directly, right? It's DSD. It decodes all.
Yeah,
it's a
it's a
DAC.
full DAC.
Full DAC decodes everything.
Supposedly it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's obviously Wi-Fi.
And has a powerful headphone amp in it, too.
Yeah, and it has a really powerful.
We're
headphone
seeing a
amp.
lot more of that,
Yeah.
which is cool because that's the type of thing I like. One box, you plug it in. It's not a big mess. Small, compact.
Yeah, it's
works
nice
great.
and small, too, yeah.
It's theoretically possible, but for some reason we haven't seen a ton of that.
Yeah, and it's fully loaded too, so it's got all the bells and whistles. And I don't know, they even make a version that has a built-in speaker amp too, don't they? I think they
No,
do.
they just make a bigger version.
Oh, it's just
Yeah.
that gets pricey.
Yeah, it's like
Oh,
20,000.
jeez.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, these are companies that are trying to integrate it and make it as simple as possible. One
Right.
box solutions.
It
so
is
that
nice.
It's available.
Yeah, there's more, of course.
You know, you don't see that on the lower end of things, but you know, because it's expensive to
Yeah.
take all these technologies and put them in one box and make it actually function well. So it's expensive. You're basically taking what would you spend on each individual piece and combining it into one, and so it gets pricey. But still, you know, if that's your range and that's what you're after, and you want something simple to set up, well, relatively simple,
Yeah.
this would be something to look at for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it because I had the previous version that didn't have the streaming in it on my desk at one point, and yeah, you like can toggle between the speakers. So it'd be for my computer, it'd be the computer speakers, then toggle to just headphones and back and forth, volume control for that. So it's nice, all-in-one solution.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and we've used the MyTech stuff in the past. It's pretty good stuff. So anyway, you know, this gives everybody an idea of where you can take this. It doesn't end with subscribing to Apple Music or
And plugging in your Bluetooth headphones.
Yeah,
I mean, it
it's
can.
yeah.
It could. That
It
could be like,
can,
all right, that's
yeah.
all.
It's
I
a good
need.
option for a lot of people. And if
Sure.
you're like at the gym or something, going
Right.
for a jog, well,
Well, you're not bringing your whole stereo with you, obviously. So
Yeah.
yeah, what else are you gonna do?
Yeah, and even for most people, actually, it's pretty good. I mean, you know, it's great.
It's getting better all the time.
Just to be able to play anything you want, anytime you want, anywhere you want, is just
these are pretty
amazing.
good. Yeah, we
You know?
use them. We like them.
Yeah.
I kind of want to do a head-to-head,
Mm.
do like a blind test where we do the thing and be between all the streaming services.
Yeah.
Mm.
People could let us know if that's like an exciting thing
It
they want
sounds
to
like
see.
a lot of work.
Could be fun. I don't know.
Could be fun. Yeah, that's true. Let's see if everyone wants
You
to
got
see
your
that.
opinions and preferences, but
What-
show people
Yeah.
that you actually know what you're talking
Well,
about.
not only that, we could do it on some baller equipment here.
There you go.
You know, so anyway, that's that in a nutshell. If you do have any questions, call us, email us, you know, PM us.
I mean, maybe not, but you
We're
can do
on,
that.
we're on social media.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you know, I mean, we could help you along the way. If we don't know, we'll point you to somebody that would.
Mhm.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Subscribe. We got more stuff coming always, and take care of yourselves.